Welcome to HousingWire's Demo Day on Demand. I'm Allison LaForgia, managing editor of HousingWire's Content Studio, and this is where HousingWire spotlights some of the most innovative technology companies in housing, giving our audience a front row seat to real product demos from the teams that are building the tech that move our industry forward. In this demo, we're featuring BLND, a company that helps financial institutions streamline workflows, launch faster, and delivers standout customer experiences. In 2024, BLND's platform powered 1.2 trillion in loan applications. Stick around after the demo. We'll dive into a short conversation where I'll ask the questions that help you connect the dots between their tech and your business needs. In this demo, Shari will be taking us through intelligent quality control. BLND's AI-powered intelligent quality control product enhances loan quality control, helping QC analysts detect issues more efficiently. It applies digitized underwriting guidelines to loan data and documents and provides step-by-step validation and reasoning, enabling the QC analyst to focus on areas of high judgment. This ensures a comprehensive, accurate, and efficient pre-funding review process, reducing review times, mitigating risks, and increasing profitability for lenders. Shari, take us through the demo of BLND's intelligent quality control.
Thank you, Allison. So loan quality control is a very necessary part of the loan process, but it's very manual and it's very inefficient. The average QC review can take days or sometimes even a week when errors are identified, and the cost is significant, with the labor for these teams running into hundreds of millions of dollars annually across the industry. And because it's so costly, most lenders only run QC on a small sample of loans before funding, which is a huge risk because post-closing defects can potentially cost lenders loan buybacks and reputational damage. So our strategy is to shift QC from a reactive audit to intelligent, proactive, data-driven process. And specifically by focusing on pre-funding quality control, we can catch issues when you can still fix them. So let's see how BLND's intelligent pre-funding QC can help deliver certainty by lenders. Here's a loan file in our product. Our AI engine has imported this loan file from the LOS, including its 200 plus documents, into the Docs tab. It's classified the documents by doc type, such as all the bank statements, and it's also provided a description auto-populated using AI so that you can quickly read and see what each document is about. When we come to this loan check tab, this is where the QC analyst can see the underwriting guidelines all digitized in the form of rules on the left-hand side. And our AI engine has taken a pass over these checks, looking at all the loan docs, cross-checking against guidelines, and flagging risks. Clicking on any individual rule, the QC analyst can review the AI results along with step-by-step reasoning of how it reached its conclusion and what documents or data it looked at to reach that conclusion. So let's dive into a common defect, large deposits. This is consistently a top 10 defect across the industry. Any large deposit exceeding 50% of the total monthly income must have some form of documentation explaining that it's from an acceptable source. The check seems simple, but processors often don't organize the documents well or name them well, and given each bank statement can have 20 or more pages to sift through, it becomes a very long, laborious, and error-prone process. QC analysts can easily spend 15 to 20 minutes on this task, digging through the documents, locating income, calculating 50%, sifting through lines and lines of transactions, and then finally searching for relevant explanation letters out of the 200 documents in the Docs tab. It's time-consuming and it's error-prone. Let's see how our intelligent QC product can streamline that. So here we see that the AI has taken a pass over this check and it's provided its reasoning and conclusion to the QC analyst. Step 1, it looked for the borrower's monthly income, found that $9,753, computed 50%, which is $4,876, and then it looked through all of the bank statements. There are 11 classified in the Docs tab, and found any large deposits that exceeded the $4,876 threshold. We can see here that it identified 4, 3 in this first statement and 1 in another statement. As we click through on these sources, we can also see exactly what the AI flagged as large deposits. Here, the QC analyst is taken directly out of the 11 bank statements and the numerous pages within each one. They're taken directly to the page of the specific bank statement that has the large deposits. Here we see 3 large deposits highlighted in this first bank statement. And then what about the 4th large deposit? We can see it here in the second source, where the QC analyst is navigated directly to page 25 of 26 of this particular statement, where they can easily spot the large deposit of $45,175. So now that the AI has located all the large deposits and reported those back to the QC analyst, what did it do next? Next, it went and looked for letters of explanation. And going through the docs again, it found 2 letters of explanation that were relevant to these large deposits. First was a letter from the large deposits for the Wells Fargo account, the 3 large deposits on June 13th. And this letter explains that these 3 transactions are deposits from the U.S. Department of Treasury for redemptions of savings bonds with an included transaction history. So this explains the first 3 deposits. And then for the 4th deposit, the AI has gone on to look for another letter and has located this letter explaining the deposit of $45,175 into the BOFA account, which is for a large back payment from Social Security disability, and again, with all the supporting documentation. Given that the AI has found acceptable letters of explanation for all 4 large deposits, the AI has gone on to conclude that the requirement is satisfied and that this particular check is compliant. Here we can see how the AI provided the groundwork, the reasoning, the fact citations, leaving the QC analyst to use their expertise to review only in the case of exception, or if there's an area that needs human judgment, like interpreting the letter of explanation further. With this intelligent origination, the QC analyst's role has shifted from the 15 to 20 minutes of sifting through documents, staring and comparing, to 15 to 20 seconds of review and oversight. Let's move on to another detail that's easily missed in QC. Fraud alerts. So with fraud alerts, if there's a fraud alert on the credit report for any borrower, there needs to be documentation that the borrower was contacted using the phone number specified in the fraud alert, or that some other steps were taken to confirm that this loan application is truly requested by the borrower and not the result of identity theft. So let's see how the AI interpreted this particular guideline and came to its conclusion. On step 1, we see that the AI identified a fraud alert on the credit report. As we click through to the source, we see we're taken to page 3 of the credit report, where indeed the co-applicant reported a fraud alert and also supplied the phone number at which they should be contacted in the event of needing to verify the identity for credit purposes. Next, the AI searched for documentation that confirms the borrower was actually contacted using that phone number. And third, we see the AI did locate a processor certificate, which is where the processor is documenting that they have indeed reached out to the borrower to confirm the identity. But as we come back here, we'll see that the AI observed that the processor may have provided this document, but did not explicitly state that they contacted the borrower using the necessary phone number, which is a very key piece of this requirement. So as a result, on step 4, the AI concluded the condition is not compliant because there's no documentation explicitly stating that the borrower was contacted using the specific phone number in the fraud alert. And here, where the AI is flagging the missing detail, it also provides a recommended action. It recommends the next step for the QC analyst is to get a processor cert, or some form of fraud alert clearance form that explicitly states the phone number used to contact the fraud alert. Now, one other piece I wanted to mention here is the importance of human in the loop in our system. This system is continuously learning and improving, and we think feedback loops are really essential to enhance its accuracy and efficiency over time. Our AI is a very powerful co-pilot for the QC analyst, but human expertise remains invaluable. If we see this review section here, this is where the QC analyst can review the results and decide if there's any nuance that really requires a human to apply to a particular check. The QC analyst has an opportunity to review and provide their feedback here. So for example, if the QC analyst reviewed this and agreed with the conclusion, the QC analyst would mark this as a yes, which allows our system to know that this is an example of where AI is doing the right thing and aligned with what a human would do in this scenario. But if the QC analyst reviewed this and perhaps found some other nuance in the package that might indicate that this fraud alert compliance point is indeed fine because of some other document, or that maybe points to phone number contact, then the QC analyst can mark this as no, provide their reasoning for why. And with that feedback, this can feed back into our AI system so that every instance of disagreement or correction is fed back in to continuously refine and improve the system's accuracy and reasoning. And this iterative process ensures that our intelligent engine becomes smarter and more reliable over time. By combining the speed and analytical power of the AI with the nuanced eye and expertise of the human QC analyst, this is how BLND's intelligent QC product is designed for continuous improvement, so it becomes increasingly accurate and efficient as it helps humans through the process of loan quality control. So here we've seen intelligence in action for the use of pre-funding QC, but this type of intelligence can be layered in throughout the entire life cycle, and this can provide value throughout your application process by having applied AI embedded throughout your workflow. So these types of checks, if performed at different times in the life cycle, can reduce your loan cycle times, get your loans funded faster, lower your operational costs by automating routine tasks, and really drive meaningful ROI. You can mitigate risk by catching errors and fraud earlier, ensuring better decisions and higher accuracy. And you can empower your professionals to focus on high-value exception review and risk remediation, and increasing your control and oversight. So just to wrap this up, this is where we see the power of intelligent origination. It doesn't just assist, it's detecting nuance, it's automating best practices, it's ensuring every detail is captured, and it's empowering your teams and helping them do their jobs better, faster, and with greater confidence.
Shari, what a fantastic look at BLND's intelligent quality control and what it's bringing to the table by enhancing loan quality control and helping QC analysts detect issues more efficiently. Let's jump into a few questions I have about the platform.
Sounds great. Thank you, Allison.
So the first question I have is, how does BLND's AI-powered QC product address the challenge of scalability during times of high volume?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In an ideal world, lenders would run pre-funding QC on all of their loans because that's when they have the opportunity to fix issues. However, in reality, it's very costly and time intensive, so lenders are performing pre-funding QC on just a small sample. And when loan volumes spike, that means that the teams struggle even further to keep up. And so that's just a fundamental challenge of scalability. And the way that our AI-powered QC addresses scalability is by decoupling the volume from your human staffing limits, where if traditional QC is a linear process and your loan volume doubles, and then you also need to staff up double, that makes it very difficult to scale. But with intelligent QC, then this can now scale digitally because AI can perform the first pass review, it can read, it can validate, it can cite guidelines automatically, and it can maintain its speed and accuracy processing, increasing numbers of loans. So we see potential here where lenders can move from just small samples to bigger samples, or maybe eventually full pre-funding quality control, ensuring that your loan quality remains high and compliance is maintained even in volume spikes without having to worry about expense or delay of temporary staffing.
Now, you just touched on this briefly, and I know that you mentioned it in your demo, but I feel like we need to circle back to the time piece of this. How much time can this save QC teams?
Right. The time savings are significant because we're automating the most time consuming and manual parts of QC, which is really that sifting through data, finding of data, and then finally concluding about that data. We saw that example with large deposits. That's something that QC teams have told us can easily take an analyst 15 to 20 minutes to complete manually just because of the sheer volume of documents, of pages, and then also line items within those bank statements. The AI is now completing this, handing the analyst its work, fully documented with its step-by-step reasoning, the linking to the source documents. So it's now really a 15 to 20-second task for the analyst to review the reasoning, click through to documents at the precise piece of data that they need to review. And so now a 15 to 20-minute task, a single 15 to 20-minute task, is now 15 to 20 seconds. And you can see that basically multiply across the thousands of checks that these QC analysts are performing over the entire package.
That sounds fantastic. So, how does this product change, I guess, the role of QC teams?
We see this intelligent QC product fundamentally shifting the role of the QC team from being a time consuming audit function to really a strategic function that helps you manage risk and make decisions and make higher quality loans in general. Your QC analyst is no longer focused on manually calculating thresholds or searching hundreds of pages for a single data point. The AI is handling that, doing that foundational work, and providing the facts and citations. So the team's new focus really becomes on exception management, where they can review the AI's work and then look really in more focus only into high risk or very nuanced issues that require their attention. And then in general, that means that the team's impact becomes less about checking off a list, and it becomes more of a strategic advantage because these QC teams are finding issues more efficiently, more effectively, fewer errors are getting through, resulting in just higher quality loans across the board.
Sherry, thank you so much for taking us through BLND's intelligent quality control. To our audience, for more information about intelligent quality control, click the link below.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Sherry.